Hello, everybody. I wanted to talk today about a recent 2 week suspension that I've gotten. Um, just as a bit of a prerequisite, I have been banned before. Um, my last ban was over 5 years ago when I was in high school, and I used to be a lot more rude and toxic. I've long been past that for recent times, and even if there is a player that annoys me, I tend to just mute them, right? As one should. But over these past few days, I've been having kind of a bad streak where I went from 1 to 2 games being away from Masters and kind of playing a little bit without my duo. Over here, you see, I really started ramping up, being really close, and since then, I've been a bit on a slope, just kind of falling down, falling down, falling down, and ending up in Diamond 260 LP before I got banned. Now, I'm not a perfect player, and nobody is. And if they said that the 2 week suspension was just you needing to take some time off, I wouldn't be mad about it, right? But I got my ban saying I've been intentionally feeding and attempting to lose the game. Now, recently Riot has put me up into a lot of fill queues where I have to deal with a really great player. And again, I've talked to this Jace after the game. It was very nice, very cool guy, but he played the shit out of me. Okay, I had no chance playing against this guy. It's a 1 million mastery point diamond Jace. I haven't played Ornn in a really long time, and I kind of got wrecked, and it happens. Sometimes you play safe and you can just win and scale out. Sometimes you get caught and you get put in this really, really bad situation. Sometimes, however, you have a good matchup. Not that the Ornn versus Jace isn't, but with Sona Caitlyn versus Sivir and Soraka, you tend to never lose this lane, right? However, they had a one trick Soraka who was capable of roaming a lot in the early game. And if you're not aware of how the game works, Soraka is basically 2 to 4 times as strong versus a Sona up until level 6, a bit beyond that, where you can get your anti heal, where you can get a few items, and Sona just like completely outscales Soraka, right? Soraka went for the basic roaming pretty much all the time because they realized that they couldn't win. Again, they even talked to me in stream about it right after the game, and we've had a bit of a discussion. And yeah, it was a really good player. Skarner also hopped in. Everybody was kind of flaming a bit one another and having a bit of fun about it. We ended up really ridiculing this ADC, but you know it doesn't matter. It's a bad game. It happens, right? So I wanted to take a bit of a break after that game. Also, after beating the same Shaco and then losing with the same Shaco, so I decided to queue up for a jungle game. And I started out this game 12-3, but my mid laner decided to go 12-17, feeding them a bunch of gold. Then when you go for this type of playstyle, if you keep dying over and over again, you're gonna get to the point where the enemies are just too strong compared to your teammates, if that makes sense. He's got 12 kills. He's got like third or second most gold on our team, right? And he's got third most gold overall. If you die as a Corki on repeat with that much gold, you're just making the rest of your team incapable of helping you. Not to mention the fact that we were all AD. It was a really rough game, and those games happen, right? I ended up fighting this Nunu towards the end of the game, and I couldn't even 1v1 him, right? And it goes to show that sometimes, no matter how fed you are, you're not going to be able to beat a single champion, right? Now, I ended the day with this Hecarim game, and I decided, okay, tomorrow I'd like to do something different. Tomorrow I'd like to kind of make a fun strat or something that's a bit more enjoyable to myself to kind of enjoy the game a little bit more, right? I was kind of losing the joy of the game, but I still wanted to stream a lot because I wanted to kind of start up a bit of a following if I could. and I logged into another account of mine. And this is something that I tend to do a lot of the time. Um, Whenever I want to try something in a competitive environment, but I'm not ready for Diamond, because I feel like if I would try it for the first time in Diamond, I would be completely trolling. Whether it would be trying Gambessa for the first time seriously, whether it would be trying Gambessa as a lethality build once I got her to Mastery 5, as you can see with this game, I would first and foremost try it in a lower elo just to kind of gauge the damage charts, what happens when you are rampaging, what your damage breakpoints are, when you can clear your wave, all these basic information and stuff, and like kind of like mechanics that I'd like to refresh on. I'd always be doing that, right? And as you can see here, I decided to try out Sion Jungle. Now, in case you weren't aware, there's this really big YouTuber called Tilterella who has in the past gotten banned, but for some reason gets unbanned within very few days off of the fact of being a YouTuber, right? And he does the exact same thing, you know. He would go and just look at this play for a moment, right? As a Diamond 3 in Korea, the first thing that he does as Sion support is take Smite, take the jungle camp, and run in 1v2 versus Aatrox and Elise, right? Now, obviously, there is a good outcome and a bad outcome that can come here. He can steal it, he can get a kill with his passive. That's what Sion is all about. That's what I was going for, right? And it takes lots and lots of games to really get acquainted with Sion. So let me play this clip real quick. You'll see that in this scenario, it ended up working out. He gets the Q because they don't go for any CC. He has really good timing on his auto attack, gets the smite, pops his shield, flashes over, gets the kill. Aatrox is wasting his time. As you can see, Yon is just able to farm top. It's really, really good for him, right? And from this point, he ends up winning the game. Right? That's all I really wanted to cover from that part. I haven't done anything that much different, right? The first game, which sometimes he does go support, right? I was spamming by my ADC, being told that I have to go ignite or they would literally run it down. All right. I played for my jungler whenever I could. My top laner was down 2 levels from my own. This is nothing short of an unlucky game. I don't think in this scenario I am the sole reason we have lost the game. Their Vi was a really good player. They actually joined in after the game to watch the stream and kind of talk about the game. And yeah, the Vi was really good. The Zyra was really good. The Zyra was an amazing player, right? And these games are going to happen where you play against really good players. As a matter of fact, sometimes I end up queuing a game and I would match against 200 LP Master players, sometimes even previous Challenger or Grandmaster players, and you just kind of have to learn how to deal with them, right? And they're probably going to be really good players. And you'd queue up the next game and you'd be playing with an Emerald 3 Smurf. So even at the top 0.5, top 0.6% of players, I still have to deal with both Smurfs and people that are so much higher rank than me that I really have to challenge myself and really attempt with everything that I've got. Regardless, me picking Sion here, a champion who I have a Mastery 5 or even more on, picking it as a support and having a bad game is one thing, right? And then picking it as a jungler and their bot lane, I've yeah, I've downloaded the game just to show you a few scenarios, but their talent was really good. His smite game was impeccable. Um, they, as you can see, they're even pinging me over here, right? As soon as like I was going with Irelia and I was wasting her time, the Volibear is getting some free farm. He can do whatever he wants. The Talon decided to take the Wraiths, right? A really smart move so that he's able to have level 2 and engage on me as I have level 2. with me wasting my time, I'm obviously gonna be a little bit later, and Akali is gonna be able to get this wave here and come and collapse on me. And it works out for them, right? It's a really smart play. He's checked every single camp that he could. Um, he knows exactly where I have to be, right? And if I'd started off with the wolves, I would have been able to recall and go towards his red, which would have been the smarter move, but Aurelia stopped me, right? This was an active engagement between their top laner, their mid laner, and their jungler, all making correct decisions to be able to capitalize on this strategy. These are people who it looks like they've played against this before, right? Regardless, I can't do much here. I'm most likely dead. Talon is going to have his E because Talon would either take W or E level 2. The best thing for me to do here is to waste as much time to allow this Kai'Sa to push in and then try to look for a one-on-one trade. And as I do this, my jungler should be roaming all the way to the red side and kind of looking for a play, right? That is what you would assume would happen. Instead, I don't really get much. They keep chasing. Kai'Sa tries to push it, but again, she's Kai'Sa, so it's a very slow push. As you can see, they're missing a lot of minions here. Not only that, I'm not sure what the hell is going on over here. But just to go a little bit into it, it's a bit of a mess, right? And you can see immediately that Talon hops off, right? After all of this bullying, I have my Volibear top with Flash looking for a kill over here, and Aurelia pings it. He notices it, and he has to back off. Jarvan doesn't come with me. He doesn't go towards the red side, so I'm going to be late going over there. And most of the time it would be fine, but they have really good vision, and they catch me. Now, me with no vision, I assume he's going to be at red, and he's not. And I didn't quite catch it, so I thought he would be on blue, but instead he ran all the way down to below me. And they perfectly coordinate. As you can see, their bot lane comes in, perfectly coordinates because of the ward, jumps in. Talon has no health. He doesn't have level 3. And he perfectly flash smites it, right? Not even with his E. I was like, how did he even get there, right? He flash smited knowing exactly where to be, and they got me over here. Now, from this point, I played to my absolute best. I didn't tilt. I was trying to get the win however I could. I tried to help my team however I could. But this is a really unfortunate game. And you can tell that the team, the blue side team, has perfectly worded everything. They've counteracted the Sion strategy as well as they could. It's like they had a mastermind, and truly, these are great players. I have nothing against these players. What I do have something against is Riot's system just being like, oh, you've made 2 slight mistakes, and from that point, your Jarvan has decided to not play the game, not play for anyone, not do anything. Your Kai'Sa had 1 good play. If you guys would like to, you can go ahead and look at the replay for it. I might pull it up at the very end of the video. My top laner was actually a duo with me, so, he's done pretty well, and he didn't give up playing. And you can see that he actually got to play the game. He was 6-5-2. He got some pretty good kills. He was pretty unstoppable against most of their team outside of the Akali. But as we saw, the Kai'Sa mid, who asked to play ADC, was having a rough time and ran into Akali level 2 melee, right? I'm not blaming the Kai'Sa for the game. I'm not blaming the Victor for the game. I have some fault for the Jarvan because he clocked out and stopped playing since 2 minutes into the game, right? As soon as he looked up my match history and decided that it was my first time playing it. This isn't the first season that I've ever done Sion support with Smite, right? I love Sion. I follow Tilterella. I follow the baus. I really do try to make it so that I improve as much as I can on the champions that I play. I go on literal other accounts just to practice first to make sure that I'm capable and I'm knowing of what I'm doing. And it's really frustrating when you try to work on a build and try to work on something and you kind of jot it all down and you're like, okay, I think I'm ready to try this in my own rank. And you queue up and you pick Sion support, first pick, right? And enemy top laner picks whatever they pick, and my top laner gets to counter pick it. And my ADC knows what's up, and they pick a champion of comfort. They go Victor AP carry, right? And in this patch, in case you guys do not know, Victor has recently gotten the buff and became one of the strongest champions. As you can see, he was borderline unplayable, and he's gotten such a huge buff of over 2% win rate, right? It's a bit odd to me that after years of playing and try harding and attempting to reach masters, as soon as I do 2 games where people will always flame you no matter what you do, and especially blame anyone who does anything bad in their game, that over the span of 2 games, I would immediately get my account suspended for 2 weeks with games that I am truly struggling and attempting to win. It makes me want to just alt F4 as soon as the game goes badly. Because why does it matter? I'm going to lose the LP anyways, and I'm going to have an LP penalty afterwards, and my honor rank is going to drop to 0 now, and, right? So please, Riot, try to fix this. I've submitted a ticket and it's been 2 days. I've had a day to really like go and relax, and I enjoyed my life. And I it's not even a matter of like this is the only thing that I do. It's just, why is it that I'm penalized when I'm trying to enjoy a video game that I'm playing? When I'm trying to do a strategy that hundreds of thousands of people have seen. Tilterella has also released a guide as to how to beat Sion jungle, double jungle, right? So there is information about it. There's information about it being countered. Sion in the support role with Glacial Augment has an average of 60% win rate for those who actually still play it, and there are people that still play it in higher elo. Fix your game, Riot. I don't know what else to say, right?